100 large trees. But they're doing a lot of heavy work in there, and so you can see why at the present time the Arboretum is closed to the public, because there's a lot of work being done there. Gary Graham from OSU Extension Forester is walking down a newly opened road. This was an area that there was really no access to, but this is a service road down to that rhododendron valley that we can now at least get down there, but there's still a lot of work being done in that area. And as you can see, the devastation still reigns, especially as you get further and further to the eastern end of the Arboretum and the damage along that forested area. This is going to be an area where good portions of all of this are going to be preserved, and we're going to look at regeneration. We're going to study what happens after these storms. We're going to study what kind of invasive species move in. A lot of research will be conducted on these areas, and this is an area that gets way back, kind of moving out of the Arboretum, that is going to pretty much be left as it is for some time. If you look back up, though, from the amphitheater and back up the hill, this is kind of what we call a pine hinge instead of Stonehenge view from the John Streeter Amphitheater. Really quite a stark reminder of the winds that came roaring across that area and then down into this other part of the Arboretum and the beautiful Streeter Amphitheater area. Okay, one of the nice things that happened on 9/30, or September 30th, 2 weeks after the storm, is already Ken Cochran and Joe Cochran and other people in the Arboretum, Jim Karcher with the grounds crew, have been collecting seed to help with regeneration of some of the areas by trees that were here and that potentially came down. So Dan Struve, and this is a nice connection from the OSU main campus in Columbus, Dan Struve of the Horticulture and Crop Science Department and a plant propagator par extraordinaire, came up, and we began to collect some seed that then can become living reminders of the trees that were there and living progeny of those. So here we have some empty acorn cups, but we began searching for seeds of bald cypress and tulip tree and sweet gum and umbrella magnolia. So there, Dan Struve there, Kathy Herms, Gary Graham, beginning to collect some of those seeds down in this area. We're kind of moving in to see if we can find one of the iconic areas of the Arboretum was the umbrella magnolia grove. And so here we're going to start looking for fruits and seeds of that. And here Dan has found some. So these can be seeds that can be new umbrella magnolia trees that can replace that grove in time. So it's wonderful to kind of see that regeneration potential that we're seeing in the seeds. Sweet gums, cut them open. Are there seeds present? So Dan here is showing that he's finding seeds, and then the next step is to move them into a propagation program, and there'll be fallen trees of Secrest return to life through their progeny. Here Gary Graham, very proud that he is crawling through the underbrush and down in that umbrella magnolia grove, has really located what will probably be some prime fruits for seed to regenerate that grove. So it's really quite a good feeling, really, as you unearth some of these that are buried under tons of other fallen trees. A lot of oaks and tulip trees and other trees fell on the umbrella magnolia grove and basically flattened it. But here you see the seeds of its regeneration. And here he is, Gary, off to find some more fruits. It's interesting, as we climbed up the hill that is going to be the area where that forest is going to be left, and we're probably not going to end up in our inventory counting individual trees because it's really a jungle of fallen materials. But just some of the interesting sights that you see, these tiny little fine, graceful looking hemlock needles, Canadian hemlock needles sitting here on a fallen log. And so a lot of interesting sights through there, including just the shredding of some of these oaks that were in that hillside area and kind of what those look like when that wind came and shattered through those mighty oaks. As we emerged from the back of the Arboretum, coming up there in search of a cucumber magnolia tree, a large cucumber magnolia tree that Dan wanted to collect some seed from, you can look all the way across Route 83 to what actually was a part of the Arboretum until years ago. This bypass of the highway came through. And if you look real closely, as you look all the way across 83, continuing to go east and continuing, if you followed that storm down Secrest Road and other areas, obviously here areas through that old part of the Arboretum where the storm went for 10, 12 miles down the road, and where people found business cards and different icons from OARDC 10, 12 miles down the road. Here you can see one of the chairs from the Jack and Deb Discovery Pavilion that was flattened by the storm in the Arboretum, and you can see that chair all the way across Route 83. Now, we don't know if somebody set the chair up afterwards or whether it really landed as if somebody was sitting there, but pretty good distance away from where that chair had been blown. This picture just kind of shows kind of a small aspect of the effect of what happens. Now, this was on a fallen tree, but this tree actually is just kind of an indicator of things have been twisted out of their normal position. So this tree fell, the branch was turned over, and so this underside of a leaf is now exposed to the sun and gets that leaf scorched. Of course, this tree has fallen, and those leaves will eventually die. But the point here is that all the kind of disjoining and the rearrangement of things that occurs when things are taken out of their normal environment. And again, we've mentioned before that the birds seemed very confused in the days after the storm trying to find their normal perches. Lots of things are changed. Stephen Myers of OARDC, Greg Ina of Davy Tree Expert Company, and we expect, for example, Davy Tree to be very involved ultimately with us understanding what went on and helping with some alleviation of some problems, and tremendous support from the overall green industry, from landscapers to arborists, to all kinds of people, botanic gardens really offering support. And again, tremendous administrative response at OARDC, Steve Slack and the whole team there. And here's Greg kind of thinking about what they're seeing and what can become next. Cleanup and recovery continues, and you see a row of pines and firs that were wiped out all the way back down to the silo that wrapped itself around the a ginkgo tree that stopped it from flying across stopped the silo from flying across the road. And just a reminder that this is all about learning and looking to the future, mourning what we lost, but looking to the future. And again, that idea of renewal proceeding apace, and here with the collection of seeds. So any last thoughts, Bruce, on what we've been seeing here in recent days?
Well, I think it's just amazing just to see how much work is taking place and in the amount of cleanup and the pace that things are being restored. It's just impressive.
I guess we'll close with Go Bucks. Thank you.